Hey everybody, this is lairdofgarscaddon again. I'm going to do one more philosophy video, and I know I'm making another philosophy video. Relax! I like philosophy, I like religion. I know, I promised parkour. I know, just wait till it gets warmer. Damn it, I bought my parkour shoes today, and I'm keeping them nice and unbroken in until it gets warmer, and I'm going to be jumping around and make myself look like a fool. That'll be awesome. Now, on to this thing. There was a video made by pungentprincess called On Consciousness. And she says that all consciousness derives from chemical interactions in the brain. There's a lot of evidence to support this, pungentprincess. You know, you gave some, like, with that neurologist messing around with the brain. There was an article, I think, in Times Magazine where some neurologists got the Dalai Lama in person, and they did an MRI along with his monks of his brain while he was meditating, and they also did an MRI of just a normal human just sitting there. And what they found was that the Dalai Lama, while he was meditating, had absolutely nothing going on in his brain. It was completely blank. And the regular person's brain was totally firing up. It was white and red and crazy, lots of brain activity. While the Dalai Lama was just sitting there going, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And that was him. He was enlightened and no brain activity. So the claim that the way the brain is physically, with the chemicals and all that, there's a lot of evidence to support that, because the Dalai Lama obviously thinks way differently from any normal human like you or me or that other guy that they did. He thinks way differently. He has an enlightened set of consciousness. You could say he has no consciousness because he has no brain activity. He's enlightened, no self. So there's a lot of evidence to support your claim that there's nothing more to look at. If you don't have any brain activity, that means you're enlightened or you're dead. I think there was like a few sparks to keep him alive, but he was like, love, peace. Yeah, he was on a different level. But anyway, lots of evidence to support pungentprincess's claim. Now, subsequently, there was a reply video made by a guy whom I subscribe to called Mathfails. And I'm purposefully leaving out details because I don't have a lot of time here, but Mathfails basically says that she's committing what he calls a cycloptic fallacy, and that's where you use one perspective to reduce other perspectives to fit into yours. And that's where you're using the science perspective to reduce mysticism and whatever else into your perspective, and that there's no other evidence, while you're using that thinking to describe others. Well, both of these claims I really like. They're very thoughtful and amazing. I love both of you. You both are really awesome. I subscribe to you both now. Fantastic. Now, on to my input. See, I don't make any videos unless I have a thought or an insight to put in, and I do. On consciousness. I don't really want to talk about consciousness. I want to say that the question of what is consciousness has sort of fallen away from me right now in my life. It has fallen away, and I let it go. And I want to say that when you let go of a question, the answer will eventually just come to you. And you'll be like, ah, consciousness. Now, the problem with this question on consciousness is that it goes beyond words. Maybe it's because that words are somewhat of a product of consciousness, and when you let go of the question of consciousness, the answer is like beyond words or something. But I could say that ineffably I understand what consciousness is. Now, here's what I wanted to get into. Mathfails is sort of a person whom I describe as someone who lets go of the thinking, and he chooses to go into certain modes of thinking, but he's let go of the whole process, and I think that's fantastic. And but that is only a part of the process. The transformative process of growing, of adult development, in my opinion. It's if you only let go, then you're cutting out. You can only develop so far. Now, if you let the process work, eventually you'll be called to clench, again, like pungentprincess is, where I guess you pick one thing and you say, I have a genuine question. I want to know everything about this. I'm going to ignore all the other perspectives. I want to focus on this one thing. I want to go into the micro and figure everything out. So you go back in and you really work at it. You wrestle, you twist at it like this. I'm at this state right now for the Armenian genocide. So it's very hard. I'm not at a place where I can let go and just forgive. But that's a part of the process. Right now, I'm still in the micro. I'll probably be in the micro for about 1 more year when I finish my senior thesis in the fall. That's the last assignment that I have for the Armenian genocide. Then I'll have no more Armenian genocide. Hopefully. If not, then okay, that's okay. But I'll keep going. But right now, I'm in the micro where I'm like, I want to figure out the ins and outs, and that's kind of like what pungentprincess is. After letting go, you're called to do that, and it's from a much deeper place. You clench a lot harder and from a much deeper place. And like I hinted at just now, you keep going, and eventually, if you let the process keep going, you'll be called to let go. Notice I said you have to be called. You just sort of have this intuitive idea, I'm supposed to let go of this now. So, let go, aha! And then you get it. You let go of the question, you understand it, and that process goes, and eventually you'll be called to clench it again. Now, I make it look like it's really fast, but like I hinted at it, this is a process of years. This is a part of growing up. You know, over years and years and years, you'll be called to clench at something and let go of something, clench at something and let go of something. What I want to talk about is the accepting of the process. You're not letting go of the process, and you're not clenching at the process. You're just saying, aha, this is lifespan contextualism. I know how this transformative process works, and you get a perspective. Aha, letting go, that's not the end. Clenching, I got the answer. No, that's not the end. In the Bible it says, this too shall pass. That's basically what that is. It's also described in Buddhism. It's called the Wheel of Samsara. I guess it has other concepts like that. I think it's the Tao, too. The Tao is described that way. But in Buddhism, the Wheel of Samsara is you're doing the spiritual work on one side, you're clenching, you're doing lots of prayers and meditating, and then the other side is going to the marketplace, where you just let go, and you know the answer, and then you'll be called to do it again. It becomes like a question and answer, question and answer. And it's just like the Tao, It's the same concept. So it's in all these religions. It's also pungentprincess. It's also in cognitive psychology. But it's called the process of coming up with intuitive insights. And it's best described, I think, by mathematicians, but I'll get into that as an example. Cognitive psychologists would say, this is how the intuition works. First, you get a problem that you have no logical answer for, and then you hammer it out. You try to figure out as many things as you possibly can. It's kind of what you're doing, kind of what I'm doing with the Armenian genocide, kind of what you're doing with on-consciousness right now and chemistry. You try to figure out the ins and outs, but it doesn't quite click in the head. So now you have all these pieces, but they're not integrated. So cognitive psychologists say, all right, now time to ignore it. It's called incubation, where you don't pay attention to the problem and you do something else for a while. And then eventually, it'll integrate in your head instantly. That's the answer. And they theorize that your right brain is unconsciously fitting all the pieces together, and then it'll just spit it out all of a sudden, and you'll get a mild euphoria as you do this. Mathematicians know this process very well. There was one mathematician whom I can't remember his name at the moment. He was working on a very difficult theorem for, a long time, months, and then he couldn't figure it out, and he went on a vacation for a month, wasn't thinking about the theorem. He set his foot on a bus, and instantly the theorem came to him, and he knew it. And so he wrote it down. He had to hash out a few logical details, but he got it, and he figured out the proof. Boom. Easy. So that might be more up your alley, pungentprincess. Anyway, it's described in all these things. I just wanted to put that out for you. This is Laird of Garscaddon, signing out.